Hello, my name is Charles, and I'm going to be conducting the video prototype for our final HCI group project. And so the task we're developing for is tracking and organizing books to read and that have been read. And so I have the interface here on my phone, my mobile device, and I'm going to kind of run through the different functionalities, but also the design rationales and decisions behind them. And first off, we chose to develop for mobile because we found during need finding that our users valued a mobile interface. And so essentially, the first screen that you'll see is an onboarding screen. And this is something that we explored with our first prototype, and we found during evaluations that users really liked it. And essentially, what it allows for is the user can specifically choose what they want to track when they're using this app. So some users might want to select everything, but some users might want to only, for example, see and track currently reading books and finished books, and maybe just the, I'm not sure, the user notes and reflections, custom labels, whatever they want, date added. And so this onboarding screen has a lot of different principles at play. The yellow indicators kind of indicate that it indicates to the user that the system has received their input, which is good feedback and perceptibility. And it's also the onboarding screen in general and functionality supports the heuristic of flexibility because it allows the app to support different interactions in which people engage with naturally. And then the different icons here kind of help the user map the inputs to the outputs of the system. And so we'll kind of choose these options for now. And again, we don't have a book right now, so the user lets us know, hey, we don't have any books yet. Go ahead and add a book to get started. And so we have a selection of books here that the user can search through using the search functionality. So let's say they want to search for Frankenstein. Oops. Frankenstein, you can search there. You can also search by the author. So the author was Mary Shelley. So you can use that to search for books. And you can also just browse around the books that are available. And that supports flexible interaction. And I'm about to add a book, but you'll notice that it uses the iOS widgets and iOS components that feel very native to someone using an iPhone. And so that's using the principle of consistency. So we're using UI elements that are like familiar to the users. And so now we're at the library screen and we can see the books that we're tracking. Right now we only have one book because we only added one book, but I'll go ahead and add another book to the finished so that you can see what it looks like. And so the library is structured in a way that matches the user's mental models because the point of this app is to track different categories of books. And we're structuring it in a way so that you can see visually the books that you are currently reading and the books that you are finished with. And this system also uses distributed cognition because if you click on a book, you'll see the information that you selected for, which were the quotes and the dates and the tags and the personal notes. But essentially, each of these books is an artifact within a larger system, and all of the books are playing a larger role, a larger cognitive role, by holding things in memory for the user so that the user doesn't have to remember the date that they added this book. It's all a part of a larger cognitive system. And also using the book covers help create an analogy to the actual book, the actual physical book that they have. And so now we'll go to the edit page, and you can see that the edit page only shows what information the user chose in their onboarding. And so I'm going to go and reset the application state so that we can see this, what happens when we select everything. So now I'm going to select every category now, and then just give me 2 seconds while I add some books to the library. And so now, if you go to the edit book, you'll see that there is all of the different things that the user had chosen. And then if you go to edit book, those corresponding things are also chosen. So it's a very personal experience for the user. You can also change this status. So that'll be the want to reread category now because we just changed that. And so there's a lot of different principles at play here as well. And so one of the big ones is constraints. So if you try and remove a book from the library, it'll double check and verify with the users, hey, are you sure you want to remove this from your library? And it also employs discoverability. All of the different functions are very discoverable with prominent buttons and icons that help the user to identify the actions that they need to take. And this is, in a nutshell, the features that we took from prototype 1, which involved having very personal experience. And let me also quickly show that you can apply filters to the books as well to only show books that match your filters. And again, we have the search functionality. But moving on to the next part that is kind of critical for our app, we wanted to incorporate a little bit more of ease of use and some direct manipulation principles. And so our third prototype involved, or I'm sorry, our second prototype involved using a camera to scan the book details. And it helps the user not have to store all of these details in memory, what the author is, what the title is, so that when they go to search the book, they don't have to put in those details. And so I'm going to go grab The Great Gatsby. And so I have The Great Gatsby here. And so I'm going to go ahead and scan this with the camera. So if you scan the book, it's going to pop up. It identifies your book, and then you can kind of choose which one you want to add it to. I have not finished this book. Actually, I have finished this book, so I'm going to put it in finished. And you can see it was added there. And this employs a lot of different techniques and principles, such as, like I said, direct manipulation. It feels like the user is directly manipulating the interface and the camera, and it makes it feel a little bit more invisible and brings them closer to feeling like they're engaging with the task. And it also deals with the mental load, and as humans, we only have a certain amount of mental capacity, and it helps kind of decrease the mental load that is on us. And so this is the general premise of our application, and there was a lot of thought that went into all of the different principles and all of the different things we learned during need finding and during our prototyping and evaluation, and it all came together in this final prototype. So I hope you're able to see that, and thank you for watching.